Shalom, this is P. Gabriel Lombroso. Ethics of the Fathers is a collection of timeless ethics, honesty, and advice coming straight out of the heart of the Fathers of Judaism. Let us be good children, and as both firstborn Israelites and Hebrew adoptees, learn from this advice that was also taught us by Rabbi Yeshua and concurred by his disciples, including Paul. Then may be fulfilled Malachi's prophetic statement, he, Mashiach, will turn the heart of the fathers to the children and the heart of the children to their fathers. Welcome to Ethics of the Sons. And in Ethics of the Sons, that's what we try to do. We go through each week. We go through the current parsha and try to glean from it, not just the ritual element and the logistical or legalistic element of our obedience, but the ethical element of our obedience. I feel that this is what Rabbi Yeshua HaNotzri tried to do. He tried to bring a balance between the ethical, between the relational commandments and the ritual and the ritual ones. At the time of the Master, people were at the height of obeying, really. They had gone through the Babylonian exile. They had gone through the Hanukkah revolt. They were really trying their best, but there was a little bit of imbalance between the ethical obedience and obedience to the basic ritual commandments. Yeshua, he came and he taught us how to properly obey Torah by being wise and having a good balance between the ritual and the relational. Of course, people say, oh no, he condemns the rituals, he doesn't want us to do this and that. No, but what he said can be, what he tried to teach us can be summed up in that statement from the Master. He said, this, O ye to have done. And as a parenthesis, this is within the context of people going further than the commandment by tithing mint and cumin, which is not even required. We're not required to tithe herb. Only the basic requirement of tithing was the produce. But people who want to show their love go further. It's like doing more than us. That's a sign of love. When we love somebody, we do more than we're required. They want a sandwich, we give them a 5-course meal. Because we love, and that's okay. And Yeshua did not condemn people for doing that. He was calling himself for a greater level of obedience. In Matthew 5, 6, and 7, he says, don't think you get away just by not murdering. No, don't even hate. He was making it harder even. He says it's not about just committing adultery, but about looking. Just looking and lusting is bad enough. He was taking it further, making it higher. So that's okay to tithe mint and cumin. But what he said, this, O ye to have done, and not leave the other undone. And the other was compassion, justice, mercy, love. And we're coming into the month of Av. The month of Av is the month where we remember the destruction of the temple on the 9th of Av, Tisha B'Av. And if you ask any rabbi today, why was the temple destroyed? They will tell you why. He says, because of the lack of love between the Jewish people. And this lack of love, because of hatred without a cause, they would say, which was epitomized by the situation in Jerusalem just before the destroying of the temple, where we had three factions of zealots fighting each other within Jerusalem. People had gotten so extreme. Those were the fundamentalists of the day. They caused the destruction of the temple. Josephus was trying to make them come to their senses, but they would not. But 40 years before, the Master came and he gave the solution. The solution to hatred is love. Don't love just your family or your friends. Even love your enemies. And in that situation in 70 AD, your enemy were even people of your own household. Your enemy were fellow Jews, fellow Judeans. That was the solution that could have prevented the destruction of the temple. And even today, it is the solution to bring us unity, to bring us what we need to live this life that the Master wants us to live. We need to remember that zealotry, fundamentalism, separatism is wrong. It's not tyrannic. So let's go now to Parashat Maaseh. Parashat Maaseh starts with in Numbers 33:1. It starts with the travelogue of the children of Israel. And it tells us these are the stages in the journey of the people of Israel as they left the land of Egypt, divided into groups under the leadership of Moshe and Aaron. We are seeing everywhere, and we can compare some of these texts with the previous chapters in Numbers. For example, Numbers 33:37 tells us they moved on from Kadesh, and we see that in Numbers 21. But of course, number 33:37 is not going to tell us all the details, because we can go to Numbers 21. It's a travelogue. It's kind of a summary of the children of Israel's journeys. And then it says Miriam's death, and then it says that they camped. In Kadesh we had Miriam's death and Moses striking the rock. I have to learn to read my own style of notes here. It's complicated. And then the verse says, and they camped at Mount Hor, at the border of the land of Edom, which we find in Numbers 20:22. Then in Numbers 33:40, we find and the Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev in the land of Canaan, had heard that the people of Israel were coming. We find this in Numbers 21:1. So we're not going to go over that because we've been going over it during the last weeks, month. So we'll jump and we go to verse 49, which is the end of the travelogue, where it says, and they are camped by the Yarden. You know, the word Yarden comes from the Hebrew word laredet, which is to descend, to go down, because the Jordan is a descending river from one of the highest point in the land, Mount Hermon, to going through the lake of Galilee into down in the Dead Sea, a very low place. So the Yarden, the descending one. And so the verse 49 of chapter 33 says they are camped by the Yarden, extended from Beit Hashimot all the way to Avel Hashittim in the plains of Moab. And this last campsite sets the stage for the beginning of what is called the book of Deuteronomy. Dvarim. So, Deuteronomy, for those of you who speak Spanish or French or Italian or Romanian, starts with the word de, due, which means, yes, you said it, two. Because Deuteronomy is the second reading of the Torah. You see, by the time they came to that campsite, we had gone through all the issues the children of Israel had gone through. We had gone through the saga of the spies who didn't want to conquer the land, and where it was said that none of that generation that came out of Egypt will come into the land, except, of course, for Joshua and Caleb. It was said that was said. So now we have a whole new generation of children of Israel who have heard the story, of course, from their parents. But Moses arrives at the border of the land with a brand new generation of children of Israel. They have not been first-hand witnesses to what happened in Egypt. They've heard it from others. And that's very important. To be a first-hand witness brings a certain type of conviction that you do not have if by solely circumstantially evidence or somebody telling you, or secondary evidence. You know, Peter, he said, "We have not taught you fables because we heard the voice on the mountain." And the very fact that every one of the disciples, except for, of course, John and Judas, died as a martyr showed that they couldn't deny what they had seen and what they had heard. But we hear it secondary. And in a certain way, we are today like that generation of the children of Israel who have not seen Egypt. They have not seen the plagues and the miracles and the crossing of the Red Sea and the flames of fire when the Torah was given. They haven't seen all that. They heard about it. And they believed it, yeah. They've seen other miracles, of course. They've seen other things. They've seen Moses striking the rock. They've seen the manna coming down. But the biggies, the plagues, the crossing of the Red Sea, the giving of the Torah, they haven't seen. Maybe some doubt us, well, we don't know how that came. Maybe, I don't know, I mean, hey, there's always doubters. So Moshe was going to be the one making an official declaration of the story, of everything that happened, by the mouth of Moshe itself. So this is why this is called it's a form of Greek Deuteronomy or Roman or Latin Deuteronomy, because it's a second giving of the Torah. Okay, so this is what happens here. So we're gonna skip here. We're gonna skip here to Dvarim, Numbers 35:9, and in Numbers 35:9, Adonai said to Moshe. You know, when we read verses, it is very important to know who he's talking to whom and why. Context, context, context. Because if something is said to someone, and the Torah is specific about it, if you say, Adonai said, well, it's universal. But there he says, he said it to Moshe. So he gave a message to Moshe. And then he told Moshe, tell the people of Israel. Now Israel, usually in the Christian context, is interpreted as the church. People are taught, when you read Israel or Jerusalem in the Bible, that's you. Well, here it says the people of Israel, and Israel is a person. Who is that? Yes, I heard you. It's Jacob. Israel is Jacob. The people of Jacob. Tell the people of Jacob, it could be translated as. It could be said. Jacob had 12 sons, a daughter also. These 12 sons have descended. So whoever was there, the text says, tell the people of Israel. When you cross the Jordan into the land of Canaan, when you cross the Jordan into the land of Canaan, you are to designate for yourselves cities that will be cities of refuge for you, to which anyone who kills someone by mistake can flee. So here, there is a program of protection for the inadvertent murderer. You know, Paul, who knows the Torah very well, he said there is no atonement for voluntary sin. It's all sins that we make by mistakes, and hopefully all the sins we commit them by mistake, by ignorance, by foolishness. But so here, Hashem is trying to legislate an already existing institution. The institution that Hashem is legislating is that of the kin avenger. The kin avenger. It's kind of the kin avenger system. You know, if you notice in the Torah, although there's no police, there is no secular court. Everything is ordered by Torah. The religious leaders are the leaders. Basically, it's a basic theocracy. The Torah defines what is right or wrong. It's the rule of law. And it defines how people should be judged and what should be their punishment also. It's very simple. It's not a democracy. It's not a monarchy. It's a theocracy. So, and here this theocracy is trying to legislate the institution of the kin avenger, because here somebody can kill someone. And sometimes, you know, it can be by mistake. You are out hunting and you don't know somebody's behind a tree and boom. You know, or you leave a pit open and somebody dies. Or you serve some food. It can happen. But when there is a murder, sentiments run, emotions run high, they run very hot. And the kin avenger, the next of kin, wants revenge. He wants revenge. But the Torah wants to make a difference between the person who goes and voluntarily, consciously kills someone and somebody who does it by accident. So he says in 35:11, you are to designate for yourself cities that will be cities of refuge for you, to which anyone who kills someone by mistake can flee. Now, I would like to read a little segment from the book called Love Your Neighbor by Rabbi Zelig Pliskin, who brings out the ethical elements of the Torah. And in the same principle of putting fences to the commandment, we're gonna do like Yeshua did, and go further. And what Rabbi Zelig Pliskin, he brings out from the Talmud the quotes that define that a person must be careful that his actions do not lead to someone's death. It says, the Torah states that if someone kills another person unintentionally, he is obliged to flee to one of the 6 cities of refuge in Eretz Israel, which were especially set aside for this purpose. The Chinuch, it's a book, explains that this punishment, going into exile, can be equated with death. I mean, he's supposed to leave his family, his job, right away, as soon as he can, to flee, because if not, he's going to be in for it. It's exile. The manslayer, albeit that his action was not intentional, has to atone for his negligence, which caused the loss of someone's life. A person must be very careful while engaging in any action that could possibly harm someone. Today, this is especially relevant when driving a car. A driver must devote himself entirely to driving, since one careless move could easily lead to a fatal accident. When you are upset or tired, do not drive. And I would add, don't text and drive, don't drink and drive, don't speed. This is very important. This is very important to not even. It seems like Hashem doesn't take in the argument, oh, it was just an accident, didn't do it on purpose. You know, but there are in Leviticus 19:14 we are told, do not speak a curse against a deaf person or place an obstacle in the way of a blind person. Rather fear your God. Sometimes we can see a crease on the carpet that could cause someone to fall. An old person could die from that. Water on the slippery floor. A wire can cause someone to trip. We need to make sure of having good hygiene when we prepare food for others and to prepare healthy food. Let's go a little bit further down the line. We need to make sure that our dress code doesn't cause someone to stumble, doesn't cause temptation. We need to make sure that our words do not cause people to get discouraged, upset, angry with others. You know, words, you know, this little thing, sticks and stone can hurt my bones, but words can never hurt me. That's not true. Cyberbullying, we have kids committing suicide. And also, our attitude, a Torah teacher, for example, should promote unity, following Hashem, not lead people into the pit of following him while dividing themselves from their brothers, sisters, and their loved ones. Breaking congregations is wrong. Secondhand smoke is also, there was recently cigar company was fined several $1 million for the death of somebody. Well, they consciously produce something that caused killing. That person is not guilty for smoking the cigar, but we are so guilty when we produce something that's not necessary. On a prophetic level, Golda Meir, and on a prophetic level, talking about what's going on today in the world, especially in the Middle East, with Israel and Gaza. Golda Meir, who was a prime minister of Israel, said one time, we can forgive them for killing our own children, but we can't forgive them for forcing us to kill theirs. Very neat statement and very appropriate for today. So then it says, 35:12, the cities are to be a refuge for you from the dead person's next of kin, who might otherwise avenge his kinsman's death by slaying the killer prior to his standing trial before community. And we will come back in a few minutes. Don't go away.